singing. Back in June, we started a series called I'm Going to Tell Somebody, and it's different characters of the Bible kind of explaining their relationship with Jesus. And our hope is that when we do these, that you can kind of see something in there similar to your relationship, or that it even causes you to think about your relationship with Jesus. So here's our next part of that series.
I had lived in Jerusalem all my life. I was happily married, and we were blessed with children. Life was good. And then I became sick. At first I thought it was just temporary, but it never really seemed to go away. And then I began to have an issue of blood. At first it was just a little, but it got worse. My husband was very wealthy, and he was able to send me to many physicians. But the more physicians I saw, the worse my condition became. They all experimented on me, none of them really knowing how to treat my ailment. I realized there was no hope for me. So I gave in to this dreaded disease. My children began to ignore me. My husband could no longer be with me. The people of our town ostracized me because now I was considered unclean. The pain and discomfort was unbearable. But having no one to talk to, no one to share my concerns with, that was torture. I asked God, what did I do to deserve this? You see, there was a time that I had willingly served God. Even when my disease was debilitating, I did my best to serve Him. Then I began to focus so much on my condition and the trials that I was going through, but I just kind of pushed Him in the background. And then it became pretty easy to blame Him for what I was going through. You see, I knew that I hadn't done anything, hadn't committed any sin worthy of this kind of punishment. So if God was going to turn His back on me, I would turn my back on Him. Until one day, you see, this plague that had beset me had driven me out of Jerusalem, from my family, from my home. And now, I was out in the country when a multitude of people came by one day, and they were talking about this great teacher that had come to the land. They said his name was Jesus. They said not only was He teaching, but He was healing the sick. A flicker of hope began to burn inside of me. Because they were saying that He could make the blind to see, make the lame to walk, the deaf to hear, and the mute to speak. They said that He could cleanse a leper to make them white as snow, cast out demons. Why, it was even said that He brought the dead back to life. Could this be true? Could he really do all these things they were saying that he could do? Why, if he could do these things, then perhaps he could help me. I began asking questions about this Jesus. The more I heard, the more I believed that he was the answer to my healing. I had had this disease, this issue of blood for 12 years. And never in all that time did I think that I could possibly be cured. Jesus. I was trying to find out where Jesus was, because now I knew that I had to get to him. I must get to him. And as I was making my way towards him, this man that I knew had been born blind looked right at me. A deaf man heard me ask where Jesus was. A lame man ran right past me. So I hurried on my way to find Jesus. The crowd was so thick, so many people. I was pushing my way through when I was knocked to the ground. I couldn't stop now. So I crawled on my hands and knees to do whatever I could to get to Jesus. And there he was, I saw him. So I reached out to touch him. But I could only touch the hem of his garment. I can't really explain what happened next. A miracle, I suppose. That's all I can say, because I felt this power go through me. And I knew instantly I was healed completely. Not just my body, but my soul as well.
Amen. Amen.
And Jesus felt it too. Because he stopped. And he turned around and he said, "Who touched me?" People pressing him from all sides, and he says, "Who touched me?" I was very afraid, but I had to tell him it was me. I had to tell him why. He looked at me with eyes so full of love and a voice so compassionate and gentle. He said, "Daughter, be of good comfort. Your faith has made you whole. Go in peace." From that moment on, I never experienced not one episode of that ailment. The power of Jesus is more powerful than anything on earth. So, if your need is physical, or maybe it's spiritual, all you have to do is reach out to him. He's right there waiting.
Amen.